Hi everyone, Abhishek here, and I just wanted to record a quick video about key bindings and the tools that I use every day. So, I recently published a blog where I talked about the keyboard shortcuts for all of the different tools that I've been using for a while now, and I thought I'll record a quick one and share it on YouTube as well. So, that's a video and I'll go over all of the tools that I've mentioned. It's alphabetically sorted, so we'll go over them one by one. The first on our list is Aerospace. It's a new tiling window manager for macOS that I've been using. I had been using Yabai before this point, but I find Aerospace just much more intuitive, and it lets me do things like this, move between workspaces, create splits. It gets out of the way and lets me get my job done. So I like it quite a bit. And if you want to see my configs, you can just come into the link and you'll find them here. And for the key bindings, I have done something. So for all of the repos which I have tools for which I have configured key bindings, I am adding these docs folder, and within them you can see this is the aerospace key binding folder, and you can see all of the things I have configured and all of the tools I use, and this will reflect the information in the configs. So if you want, you can very easily replicate these on your system and kind of use these as manuals. So yeah, that's Aerospace Tiling Window Manager for Mac. Next is Alacrity, the terminal emulator of choice for me right now, and I've been using this both on Linux and Mac. Here are the configs. It's nothing crazy, some straightforward configs. Have kept it fairly simple. And here are the key bindings for it. So these are all of the key bindings that I've configured. Uh, Nothing fancy here. Next is Arc browser, the browser that you're seeing currently that I'm on. It's a Mac only browser. I believe they released a iOS version as well. But yeah, since I've been using Mac primarily for work, this is something that I spend a lot of time on, and hence I've configured the key bindings. There's a whole bunch of them, and I use it almost every day. So I pretty much memorized this at this point. And yeah, it's pretty handy. I like it more than Chrome at least. So yeah, that's our browser, and I might do a more in-depth video on each of these tools that I've not talked about. But we'll see when I'm able to record them. So yeah, that's the browser. macOS, as I said, primarily on Mac right now for work. So I do very little changes at a system level. It's just the making caps lock key an escape key, and then swapping the function and control keys on the MacBook keyboard. That's pretty much all. And I do some things for the screenshot and screen recording tool. Then of course there's NewVim, something that I spend almost my entire day on while working. So these are the configs, and I recently updated the uh, which key specs. So I moved to which key v3 recently, and I have updated all of my specs. And as you can see, there's a ton of them, right? So to make things easier to find, um, the key bindings at least, I have added this docs for key bindings in the nvim2k repo as well. And if you go through them, these are categorized based on the top level key and then each of the individual functions. And I refer to these quite often for key bindings that I don't use every day, or key bindings that I forget. So that's key bindings for new Vim. And I also have added some tmux configs that maybe we can take a look at later, but they help me navigating these key bindings really well. Next we have Qt browser, which is my favorite browser and it's my primary one for Linux. It's like something that you can entirely drive with your keyboard. So even though I can do a bunch of things on Arc with Vimium with keyboard, but Qt browser just takes it to another level. And this is the repo that where I keep all of my Qt browser configs. It's called Qt2k. I've been meaning to do a full-length video on this as well. So whenever I get a chance, and then for the key bindings, you can just come to the docs folder and you can go through these over here. It's pretty handy, and I really like using this. It also provides a bunch of search engine capabilities, this nice autocomplete, and it's like Vim and browser married each other, right? So the only shortcoming of this browser is some of the things are not supported as well. The plugin ecosystem is not as vast, but yeah, that's a separate video. So that's Qt browser. Recast is this utility that you see for launching stuff. It's like Spotlight on steroids, and I like using it. It's pretty handy. Comes with a bunch of plugins. You can write your own plugins. So yeah, really useful. The shell, so the actual terminal, and for this I had written a gist very early when I was just starting out as a dev. So uh, this is a replica of that gist. This is for both bash and zsh, I believe. I have zsh specific configs that we'll take a look at in a few minutes. So that's shell configs, and it's pretty handy. You can learn a couple of things like moving to the start of the line, end of the line, editing it in Vim, stuff like that. Pretty handy. Sway is my primary window manager for Linux. It's a Wayland port of i3, and these are my configs. I have not made a full-length video on this, but based on the number of commits, you can see that I did spend a lot of time on this. It's been a while since I've used or changed these configs, but I really like using Sway, and I would prefer using Sway plus Linux over Mac and Aerospace any day, but it is what it is, I guess. And yeah, the docs again, they cover everything, um, all of the key bindings configured, so fairly easy to get used to. And yeah, you can always change things, right? So create your new key bindings. Now we come to tmux, one of my favorite tools, and how I configure tmux, how I configure key bindings for tmux is with the plugin tilet, tmux tilet, and it essentially adds tiling window manager capabilities to tmux. And as you can see, I have my docs over here. So it lets me do a bunch of interesting things like run a dmenu launcher, uh, which I recently created this tool called the exe or dexy, whatever you want to call it. It's a exe launcher, executable launcher that lets you run any of your commands very quickly in like very similar to what dmenu does, but for the command line. And this also works on macOS, so any Linux system. Uh, yeah, it lets Tilet also has configured things for LazyGate, for Extracto, for my notes to do, which I was talking about earlier, session management, and a bunch of other things. So, what I really like about notes is that I could just do things like, let's say I want to take a look at my new Vim key bindings, right? I just do Alt N and I search for new Vim. right? So you can see I have this key bindings folder, and it has everything, right? It has the note that I was looking at on the browser, but now it's just one click away. Let's say I want to look at notes for tmux, right? So I'll just do tile it, and here it is, right? It has all of the configs, all of the key bindings configured for it. So yeah, that's a very quick way for me to navigate between my notes and like take a look at references and stuff. And that happens with the to do plugin or to do script that I had written. And yeah, it's pretty intuitive. I really like using tmux with tilet. So yeah, that's that. Next we have Vimium. So Vimium is, if Qt browser is your browser and your uh, a browser and Vim getting married, Vimium is a browser and Vim dating, right? It's not that serious, but can still do a lot of things. Uh, so here is, so these things that you see, right? When I'm hitting F, you see these highlights. This is Vimium. Then this navigation between tabs, that's also Vimium. I can do search and stuff, so I do key bindings, right? That's Vimium. The scrolling is from Vimium, so I've configured a bunch of things actually, and it lives in my .2k repo. And the docs are also part of this repo. So if you come to the repo and if you go into docs, you'll see that I have Vimium over here, and it's pretty intuitive. If you can't use Qt browser for whatever reason, I'll definitely recommend Vimium. It's like the next best thing, uh, and yeah, it's really useful. And then finally we have ZSH key bindings. So uh, the configs for ZSH, this is where they live, and these are the key bindings. And yeah, it's pretty useful. So I have things again very similar to what I had for uh, my tmux, but here instead of alt prefix I use a control prefix. So like for my notes, instead of doing so like here I would do alt, and that opens it in a floating tmux window. If I were to hit control N, it would just do this, right? And it will let me search within the cell, and this doesn't require tmux. So for whatever reason, if I was not within tmux, I could do this. To look at my notes, I could do control D to launch whatever program I wanted, and it really comes in handy during work. So yeah, that's pretty much all. That's a video, and I'll try and make full length videos about the tools I did not cover. And if you have any feedback or want me to make any specific videos, just drop a message in the comment. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.